Serena Marshall reporting. And for more on the race for 2020, let's bring in Haley Victory Smith, editorial fellow with USA Today and contributor to Young Voices. Haley, what do you make of Bernie Sanders pulling in so much money in the fourth quarter, $34.5 million? You think that's a sign Bernie could be breaking out of the Democratic field?
I think, first of all, that is a remarkable amount of money. You know, what columnists and commentators have been saying for a while is that Bernie Sanders was not going to really have momentum in this race, that he was going to be the type of candidate who, you know, had his chance last time, but wasn't going to succeed this time around. But what these numbers show us is that Bernie Sanders potentially does have momentum. We've been saying that he kind of has, you know, a low ceiling and a high floor as far as how many people are supporting him. But when you're able to pull in that much cash, it really starts to show us DC insiders that potentially Bernie Sanders has more appeal to new voters that he didn't reach last time than we may have originally thought.
And what about Pete Buttigieg and his $24 million raise? That's better than frontrunner Joe Biden's $22 million. Buttigieg seems to be resonating.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, again, that's an incredible number for somebody who was kind of an underdog candidate, but now is really showing some success and, again, showing some momentum in Iowa. Now, the thing to keep in mind, both for Bernie Sanders and Pete Buttigieg, is that, you know, fundraising does not necessarily exactly correlate to people who are going to come out to the polls. It is quite possible that there is a large number of Joe Biden voters who are going to come out and vote primaries because he's the candidate they think can beat Donald Trump, but they're not necessarily going to give him money because he's not necessarily a candidate that excites them, because the safe choice doesn't necessarily excite people. So you have to keep in mind that those two numbers could be different for that reason, but it's still an important number to look at for sure.
Interesting. All right. So where does Elizabeth Warren fit into all of this? We don't even have numbers from her campaign, right?
Yeah, I mean, now, you know, that could be a good thing. That could be a bad thing that we don't have Elizabeth Warren's numbers yet. We don't really know necessarily. But I think Elizabeth Warren has been the sort of candidate where, again, people have gone, I don't know, maybe she will succeed, maybe she won't. There was a lot of media momentum behind her a couple of months ago, and now she just doesn't have the same sort of appeal that she did even a few weeks ago. Her campaign is slowly but surely kind of slowing down from where it was before. So, yeah, I don't know about Elizabeth Warren. I think maybe her time is up on this.
Well, someone whose time is definitely not up, President Trump. I mean, his fundraising numbers just knocked everyone out of the park. $46 million raised in the fourth quarter alone. And has he even spent any real campaign money so far?
Yeah, so that is an incredible number. But the thing to keep in mind is, you know, the Democratic numbers are spread across multiple candidates. And so if it was just Joe Biden against Donald Trump and he was still able to top Joe Biden by that much money, that would be something really important to be talking about. But because, you know, you have one Republican versus a ton of Democrats, it's not necessarily a number that I pay a lot of attention to. I mean, that's a lot of money, but it's not necessarily something that I think is particularly notable.
And as I mentioned, the president hasn't done a lot of spending, so he's got quite the campaign war chest to dole out in the months ahead. All right, Haley Victory Smith.